Hello, I'm Dr. Roniglet, and this is just a short video for my students in COP4813 working on an assignment on form validation. This is kind of give you a technique. I let them work with some of the videos, but they essentially had to write an assignment to validate a form. And looking for a really straightforward way to do this. Now, the assignment simply said in the action here just to mail it, to do a mail to the form, to a mail address. And because of JavaScript-based security, it doesn't let you send that off. It just allows you to bring up the mail application on their machine and send the mail that way. Well, let's do this. Let's look and see what this does. Here's my form. I'm going to leave this blank. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and reload it. His first name. Hit submit. Okay, I did have an alert saying now validating form, and it says I must enter a value for name, which I didn't do, and it doesn't do anything past that point. If I put in something for name, it'll say validating, same thing again, and this time it doesn't give me that error message. It pops up my little email so that I can send this off. Okay, so I'm going to move that over here to the side. That's just some simple stuff that we did here to get this to work. Okay, I'm not going to save that. Alright, so what's going on with this? Well, what is going on with this is I created this form here, and on submit I have it return validate form. Now, if validate form returns a true, it will go ahead and continue on with the action associated with it. If it returns a false, it's going to not continue on with the action associated with it. So validate form is a JavaScript function. So we can go up here to this JavaScript function. Now, I did it this way, and I put this alert in here to show that so that as I'm debugging this, I can see each step as it's going along, because I'm just using the standard text browser to do this. So validate function is a function, or validate form is a form, and right now I only do one thing. I have a call to validate not blank, and I pass it the actual value from the document forms right here. And I'm doing this without using jQuery or anything else, just straightforward JavaScript, and then a string name. So if I come over here to validate not blank, it looks to see if the value passed to it was null or a blank string, and if it was, it'll pass to enter a value. It says say must enter value for, and then the message was that name. Now I'm going to do some modification here. I'm going to change this to first name, which I had done and back and forth. So now that's first name. Okay, and now the message will be first name, but what allows me to do is do this. Okay, so now I've got this one input field here for first name. It's very quick and easy for me to create another input field for last name. And I'll just make this one L name, and then I can very easily do this. Okay, I can copy and I can paste this, change this to L name, and now I'll change this string to last name. Okay, if I save this, okay, and I come back over here to where I have this in the browser and I reload the browser, well, now if I submit this, okay, validating form, now it says I must enter a value for last name, because as you can see I didn't have a value for last name right there, so I have to enter that value there. Now I did do a couple things that are a little bit interesting here. I had used an ID here field. I'm going to change this to name. Okay, just to show you some of the idiosyncrasies of JavaScript, I'm going to save this off. Okay, now I'm going to bring this back over here. I'm going to reload this. Okay, I'm going to go blank here. Okay, form, first name. Okay, that's done because remember, it won't get to the last name because it validated false. So let's put a name in here. Hit submit. Should run through the form, and voila. Notice over here, it now has a valid post string for name, F name, and L name that went into the email. So you should work with and practice with different methodologies within JavaScript, but what I'm showing here is if you had to validate a not blank, it's very easy to do in every single one of the fields that you may have in your form. It's very easy now to do a validate not blank. You simply add this with the input form names. Now, I only have one function right now, which is validate not blank. I can get much more complex with this and do some regular expression validation, but the format of having a single master function called validate form that either returns a true or false and calls other functions to do any specific work is a good way to go about writing this type of assignment. And the reason is because you can break all the little things down into chunks, each individual function being a chunk. A lot of students were struggling because they were trying to build the whole thing into one function, and one thing would break and it was difficult to debug, and then the code would start swimming in their heads, and then they'd start going insane, and then they'd start sending messages and having lots of trouble with it. Programming. As a general rule, it's good to program in little pieces. And by having a master function which called other functions to do specific tasks, I programmed in little pieces. The other thing that I was able to do here was I could throw up alerts as I was debugging. I take the alerts out later saying, now validating not blank, and that alert tells me as a programmer that this is going into that specific function, so that as I'm debugging it I can see what's going on. I'm hoping this is very useful to you, and I'm not going to do a lot of processing on this. I'm just going to leave this out there for the students to take a look at. But this is some good debugging work for you to help you out as you're trying to do these large, big projects. And thank you very much, and good programming.